Welcome to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share on any platform that you're listening on. All right, welcome back. Another episode. Appreciate you coming back. Want to thank Cheers and Spirits in the Arnold Plaza for sponsoring this episode. I'm back with the Four Roses again. Had it last time. I'm drinking it this time. I really kind of enjoy this one. It's only 80 proof, but for a $20 bottle, it's an enjoyable drink for me. Not as flavorful as most, but yeah, on a night that I just want to kind of sip something, I want a little bit of the taste on my tongue. This isn't horrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna pour that next. So, it's probably one of those things where you're like, oh, that's cheap stuff. But it's just some clown that doesn't know what they're talking about. So
it is cheap stuff. But here's the thing: for $20, it tastes something like bourbon to me, and it doesn't burn going down or coming back up. It's one of those things where these lower proof ones, they give me the fewest problems.
Yeah.
I know you drink. You've been drinking them neat, so you've got a much higher tolerance for the coming back up than I do. But I'm kind of at the point now. We've tried a bunch of these, and don't get me wrong, some taste better than others. And I think I'm not saying I would never drink a higher proof one. I'm just saying that on certain occasions where I'm just drinking to have something, maybe relax the nerves a little bit before bed. The lower proof is where I'm going.
Yeah,
that seems to be my train of thought right now. In the future, it might be different. I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Especially, with the two bottles that we found that are fairly good. And in fact, I've got three because I do like the Old Forester 86 as well, and that's a $20 bottle. The Wild Turkey 101, if you want a little bit more flavor and heat to it, is also a great buy at $20. And this Four Roses one, for me, that's kind of, and to me, it tastes better than the benchmark number 8, which is the $18 for a handle.
Yeah,
I think this might be more of a mixer at that point, although less flavor to it. But it's cheap. I mean, if you do a lot of mixed drinks, you don't want something that's going to cost a ton of money, which you're going to just flavor it up.
Yeah, it's funny. I went to, I was sick, so I wanted to have a hot toddy. And so I go to buy a bottle of whiskey because I didn't have it. So I used to drink Makers and Ginger, which is a great drink, and my buddy was a bartender, so it was mostly Makers with some ginger. But, I enjoyed it, so I said, I'll get Makers. And the guy was like, what are you mixing? And I told him what I was doing because I was in there like clearly sick. And he's like, yeah, just get some Jim Beam. Like, what are you mixing Makers with? Like, what are you doing? So I bought the Jim Beam, and as a mixer with tea and honey was awesome. It didn't need to be. Most people, once you mix it, they're not going to. It's hard to discern what it is.
Sure.
How
much is regular Makers though?
I don't know. I haven't bought it in a long time.
That'd be a good question. I know Jared talked about he likes Makers a lot.
Now there's Makers. So there's Makers, and then there's, I think it's Makers 46. It's like a different.
That's a higher dollar amount.
Yeah.
I think regular Makers though is like in the $25 range.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. I could be way wrong though. That's probably gonna be the one I want to try next. Lower end Makers.
Yeah.
Before we start kind of moving back up into some more expensive stuff. But mostly because, I think the next few episodes, we probably should just drink what I've got here because I got so much damn bourbon in my house. I need to get rid of some of this.
Right.
So I might just decide to have like another whiskey party or something. I have no idea.
Maybe some old fashions or some. Is it highball whiskey? See, I don't even know. That's how bad I am.
I think I'm going to make my own drink. I'm going to make it up. Just because I don't know if I'm a fan of the old fashioned. For me, the old fashioned, I might as well just drink the straight whiskey. Because I think once you've had straight whiskey and you get used to it, the old fashioned's kind of like, it's not enough flavor in it.
I think what's in it? It's just simple syrup and whiskey. Like it's not that
simple syrup, bitters, and whiskey, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, just drink. It's like sweeter whiskey.
Yeah, and it's not even that sweet because most people who are making it, they don't put too much simple syrup in it.
Yeah.
Like I think if I had like a ginger ale and a mixer, like in a whiskey, and maybe I don't know, maybe something else, but like a ginger ale has enough sugar in it, along with the carbonation, to add with the whiskey.
Yeah.
So now it's more like a spiked ginger ale at that point, and that might be more enjoyable than the old fashioned.
I'll tell you what. Like if I go to a wedding and there's an open bar, so I'm mainly a beer drinker, but when I go to a wedding, I'm like, because a lot of times, like if we travel to a wedding, we're not driving, we're going to stay in the hotel where the wedding is. It's like, hey, let's burn it down. And generally my wife and I will burn it down. Like it's like we're hanging out with like the 22-year-old bridesmaids and groomsmen just like getting mashed up, and it's fun because we're old now, so but we still hang for a night, and next morning is going to be rough, but hey, whatever, it's a night without the kids. So then a lot of times like a wedding bar is not going to have makers, but they'll have Jack, which I hate, but Jack and Ginger's not bad, so that'll be my Jack and Ginger. Let's do it. So. Even though everyone who's listened before knows I think that Jack tastes like Hoppy's number 9, but it's not too bad in ginger ale. So
you want to know what's the worst combination though? A 7 and 7. So Seagram 7 and 7 Up.
Okay.
Honestly, anything else other than 7, like Seagram 7, would probably be fine in it. But I've heard Seagram 7's awful.
Yeah, I've had 7 and 7, but that's like, wedding at the hotel bar at 1:30 in the morning. Like, I'd probably drink anything. So,
funny thing is, I don't really know the names of a lot of drinks, but like you can walk up and say 7 and 7, that bartender knows what it is.
Yeah, well, so and knowing people that are bartenders, like people come up and they're like, "Can I have it?" And like they don't want to muddle stuff. They want to pour some soda and then pour your booze in on top of it.
Yep.
So do your bartender a favor. Like, don't ask for the mojito. If you order a mojito, you're an asshole.
Right.
And mojitos taste good. But, you got to, muddle the mint and then mix all this stuff. It was featured in some stupid movie or something, or commercial.
Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, it became cool. However, a Moscow Mule is delicious.
Yeah, I think, like you said, though, like, you want to... especially if you don't want to have to tip the bartender a bunch. Like, you can't order the mojito and tip the bartender $1.
No.
That's more than a 7 and 7, $1's fine. Jack and Coke, $1's fine.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, you're still at the old bar when you were in college. $1 per drink, right?
Yeah.
If you're asking for the mojito or something a little more complicated, that's a $2 to $3 tip on a drink. I think. I don't know. I haven't been to a bar in such a long time. I don't know what the inflation on that was. But generally... I guess it also depends on the price of the drink, too, though. I mean, like, if you got a place in, like, I think when we were at Dry 85, Dry 87, or whatever that place was, it was, we had drinks, and we tipped our waitress, though, because the waitress brought them. Like, we weren't at the bar.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were tipping the bartender per drink. We were tipping based on the total bill like we normally do for food.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's, like, I don't know the tipping protocol as far as going up to the bar anymore, because I haven't saddled up to a bar in so many years.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I went out. We had a night off. Like, we actually went away, and we didn't go. We went to Annapolis, so like
counts.
But we stayed in a hotel down there, and we ended up at I forget the name of the bar. It might be Level, where they do the gimlet.
Yeah.
That's a complicated drink to make, but it's like their signature thing they brag about, so I don't feel that bad.
Right.
But like, essentially the dude's making a meringue. Like, it's got this frothy, it's got like lime zest. I'm like, are you cooking?
Right.
You making a pie? Like, I still feel a little bad.
The zest in any drink to me is awful. It's literally the peel.
Yeah.
Just grated into your drink. There's a reason why people don't eat the peel.
Right.
It tastes like garbage.
And a lot of recipes that call for zest, I don't do it.
No, it's gross.
So I'll make like a cilantro lime rice, and I just use the lime juice. I don't zest it in there.
No.
Because lime's kind of bitter anyway.
Well, I'm pretty sure anytime you zest it, it's always you're zesting the peel. You're not zesting the inside of the fruit.
Oh, no, it's always the peel.
Yeah, that's like the worst part of the fruit.
Yeah.
Like, no, stop.
That's why you throw that away.
Someone fancy decided to do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is wonderful.
Yep.
No, it tastes like shit. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This guy invented it. It's wonderful. Everyone now must use zest. They put it in a magazine as some popular thing and trendy thing. And now everyone's got to friggin' do it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, ooh, zest. This sounds great. And like, I think one time my wife like zested some lemon over chicken parmesan. And I tasted it. And it tasted like bitter lemon rind. Like, ugh. Maybe we shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, you gotta, like, sometimes you'll see it like, it's like fancy, like, you'll see the zest, but it's like curled up, like, it's like part of the presentation. Like,
Right. Yeah.
you just put trash on my food.
We should start a movement. No more zest. Nowhere. Zest doesn't belong anywhere
Yeah, because I'll make,
other than a bar of soap.
right, because I'll make chicken francais, like, and I'm not putting, it calls for zest, but I'm just using lemon juice and butter.
Especially with like old Italian recipes. They're old and Italian for a reason. Mm-hmm. They don't need your special touch.
Right.
They don't need zest. They've been good for 300 years.
Because you saw Alton Brown do it once.
Yes. Yeah. It's been good for 300 years. The fact that Italian restaurants all across this country have been in business serving the same 5 dishes for the most part is because they taste fantastic as they are.
Yeah.
Stop trying to add zest to this shit.
Right.
It tastes like ass.
It's like they'll try to make it their own signature thing, like carbonara. If an Italian restaurant has carbonara, they're automatically, in my eyes, rated much higher. Mm-hmm. But it's got to be good. Carbonara is pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's, it's egg yolks and Parmesan cheese and, and bacon. Like, you don't need to add all kinds of craziness to it. Mm-hmm. Just make it simple the way it's designed and make it's good. But these foodies decide they have to have, and I don't want like 3 strands of spaghetti and then a little piece of pancetta. Oh, that's your carbonara. No, I want I want to eat a pound of it.
Yeah. Or they put it in like the spaghetti mountain where it's all twisted into like a volcano type of a mountain.
Yeah.
And then they put like something lightly on the sides or on top of it to make No, I'm going to freaking eat. I'm going to devour this.
It's all coming out the other end the same way.
Yeah. Like, and I can tell what you're doing with the little volcano of pasta. You're shorting me on pasta that costs 5 cents. Give me the full pasta.
You're charging me twice as much for it.
Yes. You're charging me $25 to $30 for a piece of chicken, some sauce, and some pasta. Don't skimp on my pasta.
That's why when I was growing up, we rarely went to Italian restaurants because my father could make all of it better. Mm-hmm. And when you realize, like, when you cook it yourself and then realize what they're charging for it, you're like, you go to a restaurant and order spaghetti and meatballs. And a dinner portion of the charge at a cheap place, it'll be $12. At a more expensive place, $20. You know how much spaghetti and meatballs I can make for $20? I'll feed the whole neighborhood.
Right. Like a box of spaghetti is $1.
Yeah.
And 87 cents if you get it on sale.
Right.
If you make your own with flour and eggs, maybe $1.25.
Yeah.
For that much pasta. A lot more labor, but let's say you do box dried pasta,
a jar sauce,
and you formed your own meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably feed each person for $1.50 a person.
Yeah.
With everything included.
That's why churches do spaghetti dinners for fundraisers.
Yeah, Boy Scouts do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the cheapest way to feed people.
Yeah, outside of pancakes.
Yeah. Well, that's why they do pancake breakfast.
Yeah.
Because pancakes are cheap.
Right. And now you can feed a ton of people. But you go to a restaurant and it's like, oh, this pancake special is $11. I could feed the whole county pancakes for $11.
My daughter learned how to make mini waffles because we have one of those mini waffle makers.
Oh, cool.
She made them all on her own.
Good.
So now, if I need waffles, I'll snap my fingers.
See, she shouldn't have done that.
Right.
She tipped her hand.
I know. She wanted to. It's a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
See, that's how I trick them. Now, if I was eating carbs, I could have waffles whenever I want them.
Right.
Figure she learned how to make the thing that I can't really eat. Same thing with the pasta. I love pasta. Mm-hmm. Love it a lot. Try not to eat it now. I guess we should probably give some kind of a weight loss update at this point.
Yeah.
I am officially down to 319.
Okay.
Well, it was 319.1.
And you started at what?
350.
Good deal.
So that's essentially 30 pounds. I won't call it 31 just yet because I'm not under 390. Mm-hmm. So 30 pounds. It does go up a little bit day to day, up and down, but I haven't gone under 319.1. So I'm considering that my low. But, I mean, I could be on any day 320, 322, 323, whatever in that range. But it is back trending in the right direction. Not as fast as I wanted to, because it has been, I mean, at the end of this month, it'll be 6 months. And if I don't lose another pound, which I don't think will be likely, but I mean, I got 15 more days in a month. But let's say I lose 30 in 6 months. That's like, 5 pounds a month?
Yeah.
That's about what the average should be if you're losing it on a consistent basis. So I'll take it. Not happy with it, but happy enough.
Yeah. So are you feeling like you could maintain the low carb, for lack of a better term, keto, because that's what the app is doing, for a while? Or are you going to want to bounce back and go back to crushing pizza?
So what I could do and what I want to do are two different things.
Right.
I could stay on keto for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I found cheaper ways to do the meat. Just buying bigger quantities of it.
Yeah.
Going to Costco, you can get meat cheaper than you can at the regular grocery store. The problem is the want to. And not the want to in that I don't want it. Like, I don't want to keep losing weight. It's a want to of the addiction part of my brain still says I want it.
Yeah.
Like, I see it, the salivary glands start. Mm-hmm. That has been the most difficult part of all this. And that's what the drugs were supposed to stop, that I don't take. But, so like the semaglutide, which is Ozempic for most people, or Wegovy, that is supposed to stop you from wanting to eat those things, but I think they stop you from wanting to eat
anything because it makes you sick.
Correct.
Well, there's also been some, the fact that they're questioning whether people who are losing weight on it are losing their dense body mass, so they're losing muscle and bone, which is something that I'm not cool with. So, and you and I have different philosophies. So, I'm more of a body composition person.
Sure.
And I think you're more into this numbers on the scale. Mm-hmm. So, where I'm just opposite. Like, I don't care about this. I'm more into, if I weighed 475 pounds but was 11% body fat, I'm cool with that. I'm also playing for the Ravens.
Right.
So
yeah. For me, essentially, my view on semaglutide and whatever the other utides are, it essentially tricks your brain into accomplishing the starvation diet, because you just don't want to eat. Not that your body needs less nourishment, not that your salivary glands don't want it when it sees it, but you physically can't eat because you feel full all the time. Therefore, you don't eat. It is essentially a starvation diet in my mind, which means when you're off of it, now will your brain revert back to wanting to eat all the stuff you didn't eat?
Yeah.
And then you gain it back. And I think that's what happens with some people. But at the same time, it's worked for a lot of people, though. The problem is it hasn't been used for weight loss for a very long period of time. It's only been popular in the last 2 to 3 years. I'm interested to see what happens in years 5, 6, 7, 8 as these people come off?
Yeah.
Did the eating habits change? Or did they just get tricked into not thinking they were hungry? And now that they're off of it and their body, again, if your body sees it and you don't have that full feeling anymore, or you don't have that little bit nauseous feeling, do you go back to eating?
Right.
And therefore you gain the weight back. I don't know. For me, it was a nausea issue, like a bad nausea issue. Also went to the bathroom a lot when I was on it, and I only took one shot. So some people said you got to stick with it. That was a miserable week.
So my wife was on it, and she stayed with it for a good 2 months, and never saw any significant weight loss. And she would take it, and she would time it. She didn't want to be sick at work, so she would time it so that essentially Sunday she would spend Sunday feeling like garbage. It's like, do you want to take one of your days off during the week feeling like garbage? So she came off of it. She was like, I'm not doing it. Like, it's not. And she was a soldier. She stayed on it for 2 months, put up with that. And
did she feel the effect that she was full and didn't want to eat?
She wanted to eat. She was sick.
Right. But the whole week or just a day?
So it was really bad for like a day, but then most of the week was just, like she did not want to eat any food. Like it was, so at that point, like, if you're sick, if you're feeling like you don't want to eat because you're ill, then, is it worth it?
Yeah, because the drug itself doesn't make you lose weight.
Yeah,
it makes you lose. It has you lose weight because you physically don't feel like you can eat food.
Yeah,
because you're either sick to your stomach or you feel so full you don't want to eat. The problem is, if being so full that you didn't want to eat didn't stop you from eating before, this probably isn't going to help you there either.
Yeah.
So the only way it can really stop you from eating is that you feel sick. But for some people, they just put up with it. And I mean, there's a lot of people using it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'll be more interested in like 5 or 6 years after they've been off of it, because it's not something you stay on forever.
Yeah.
You go on for a year or 2 years, a year to 2 years. You lose the weight you're going to lose, and then you go off of it. You wean yourself off.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I'm not saying it doesn't work, because it's obviously worked for some people. But I may go back to it one day. But I think with this keto diet, and I call it a diet, it's a way of eating. Some people don't process carbohydrates right, and it leads to weight gain. And so by cutting it out, maybe that's why I've lost the weight. Or, to be honest with you, I have cut down my calories.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, because I did keto with you for about a month, and one of the things that I found was like, your options are just limited. So, where before you could eat, like, oh, there's oatmeal cream pies here, I'm going to crush oatmeal cream pies. Well, that's gone. They're no longer there anymore. Like, if you're being strict, and then just limit yourself to, high protein and fats, like you're kind of just your options aren't there.
Right.
And yeah, if you want to, you could drink a quart of heavy cream, but as much as that sounds delicious, even I'm hard to drink a quart of it.
Well, and the body doesn't. I mean, it's tough to digest that much.
Oh, you're just
dairy.
Yeah.
So I mean, your options are eggs, meat, some veggies,
cheese,
and cheese.
Yeah.
And even if you eat too much cheese, again, it's the dairy.
Right. And then you also have the fact that your snack options, your salty, crunchy stuff, is just not there. So, okay, I'll replace that with pistachios.
Yeah.
But
right.
Now you're shelling pistachios. It takes you longer to eat it. It's not like you just throw a bag of microwave popcorn in and just crush it. Like, it's just, the options aren't there. So I found that. No, I did have that whole GI issue that popped up, so I'm not sure if that way of eating had anything to do with it. We're not sure what it is. So I had a CT scan that came back like nothing. It was completely negative. I'm going in for, I call it my spit roasting next, coming up. So,
yeah. The other thing I like about the keto that I've done, and I would say this is probably why I haven't lost as much weight. I haven't been as strict the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
But I also haven't felt the desire to pig out. And I've always been able to go back to it.
Yeah. Well, some of this salty crunch, like my weakness, the salty crunchy. Like, say I were to open up a bag of Tostitos with lime. I'm going to the end of the bag. Like, I'm crushing it.
Yeah.
So when that option's just not there, as long as you're disciplined, I mean, you can choose to eat whatever you want.
Right.
But, certain things you're just not going to eat a lot of. So.
Yeah. But I guess what I was saying was that even though I haven't been as disciplined, the weight hasn't come back on. Mm-hmm. But I've been also very careful not to. I think the biggest thing I've probably learned from it is to not eat as many calories.
Yeah.
I'm not starving myself. This morning for breakfast, I got the girls. It was their first day off of school. I was on a conference call all day, so I had donuts delivered for the girls to have some for breakfast. Nice little celebration. You're off school, and I had a donut. Now here's the thing, though. I know I had a donut. Tomorrow I will not have a donut.
Yeah.
So for me, the biggest change has been not to deprive myself of everything.
You eat 6 donuts.
Right. And that's the part. I'm learning the moderation.
Yeah.
And that's probably been the biggest change through all of this. And that I know that the donuts are not good for me. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I don't ever have one. But it means I don't have a bunch in a day.
Yeah.
Because before, if there were 4 donuts left over because they each had one out of half dozen, I'd eat all 4.
Yeah, because they're not going to get any better than they are now.
Right. But now part of it was the addiction to food.
Yep.
You see 4, you eat 1, the dopamine hits, and you got the dopamine hit because you ate the donut, so you eat another donut.
Yeah.
That's how the addiction works. It works that way in everything. It works that way with heroin. It works that way with Coke. Not that I've done those. Actually, I have never done them.
I've never met a fat cokehead.
Right.
Or a junkie.
If I was, I'd probably be a lot slimmer.
The cocaine diet plan.
Yeah, right? Maybe I should have gone on that.
If nothing else, you run out of money for food.
Exactly.
Because you spend it all on cocaine.
I'd end up divorced too, because my wife probably like, you waste all your money on Coke, I'm gone.
Yeah. God's way of telling you have too much money.
But that's why I think it's probably going to be more sustainable this time around, because I am learning the moderation part of it. Mm-hmm. And part of it is guilt. Part of it is, look, I ate the donut today. I knew I shouldn't have eaten it. But rather than feeling horrible about it, I'm just not going to eat one tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to eat one the next day or the next day.
It might be a month before you have another donut.
It might be a month. And for me, that's been the biggest hurdle to overcome. Mm-hmm. For example, like tonight, we had tacos. And it was enchiladas that were wrapped in corn tortillas. So it was 3 corn tortillas. Now, that probably didn't put me over for my carbs, but I know for tomorrow, so I had the donut and the 3 corn tortillas. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know tomorrow I gotta rein the carbs back in.
Yeah.
Today's not gonna kill me, but I gotta make sure tomorrow and the next day it's not a snowball effect anymore. Right. And that's okay though, because you wanna know why? I had the taste of the donut. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah.
And not that I don't think enchiladas are bad for you, because it was a chicken enchilada. And I had black beans with it, which are good for you. Mm-hmm. The rice probably wasn't. It was like the Spanish rice.
Yeah.
But I only ate a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But again, it was moderation. So
before you would have been using the tortilla chip to scrape up the extra rice.
Yeah. And so for me, that's been the biggest lessons have come with the moderation part of it. Whereas before I thought I was moderating and I was not moderating. But I probably, at the end of the day, I probably came in right around the 2,000 calorie mark, which is about 200 under where I should have been for the day. So did I eat the right calories? Maybe not, but I made sure not to go over the calorie amount.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of that mitigates, right? Did I eat the right ones? No. But I still didn't eat 4,000 calories today.
Right.
I didn't eat 3,000 calories today. That would have led to the rebound weight gain.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is like, your body's going to suffer a little bit. It might retain a little bit of liquid. It might add a little fat to you. But you might end up burning more of that off.
Yeah, and I mean, it didn't take you 3 days of eating shitty to get to where you're at. Mm-hmm. So 3 days of eating shitty over the trend. Again, it's this trend.
Right.
Like what's your over? How are you trending? It's like, yeah, you made some bad choices, maybe say air quotes bad with the donut and the enchiladas, but your overall trend is still good.
Right. It wasn't that way this whole week.
Yeah.
And one of the things I find that helps is, and I talked about this before, I can't remember the cut of meat that it was, but from basically, Costco has this like huge chuck, kind of like, it's like a roast, but it's not. It's like a fatty, it still looks like fatty steak that they just haven't cut. I'd essentially cut it up, grill the pieces of it, cut that up after it's been grilled, and I put it in a Tupperware container, and I basically just put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
And that would be like a little bit, like I would take about 8 to 10 ounces, which isn't a small portion of meat. I mean, that's more than you generally get at a restaurant. You usually get 8 ounces of steak if you order a steak. And so I would generally take, sometimes it'd be like 10 to 12 ounces. But 10 to 12 ounces of meat is about 500 calories. Mm-hmm. That's it. And the other thing was the meat made me feel a lot fuller than if I ate carbs.
Yeah, because protein is satiating.
Right. So if I ate 5 to 600 calories of carbs, I wouldn't feel as full as if I ate 5 to 600 calories of protein.
Yeah.
It's not equal. And that is one thing I've definitely noticed. And so the problem is, everyone's like, oh, the problem is, well, meat's expensive. Well, that's why you got to go to a place like Costco and get the big cut. Rather than they charge you more if they got to cut it. And so
look at the cost of ribeye compared to a ribeye steaks compared to a rib roast.
Right.
The rib roast per pound is going to be less than the ribeye per pound because there's one less step in processing it. So
I mean, I even mixed it up. I got steaks. I think I got a chuck steak or ribeye steak, one of the two. And then I got flap steak. Mm-hmm. Flap steak is fairly inexpensive because it's like a leftover cut. I think flank steak also is a less expensive.
Flank's good. Yeah. The problem with that is so flank and skirt used to be super cheap. But what happened is since Tex-Mex or Mexican food has gotten more popular, those cuts are more in demand, so the price has gone up.
Yeah.
Just like chicken wings used to be like throwaway.
Yeah.
But then buffalo wings came out, and now the price has gone up with them. A good one to try is, it's called a boneless chuck eye steak.
Okay.
Some people call it the poor man's ribeye. Mm-hmm. I actually prefer the flavor of the meat to a ribeye. It's really good. And Green Valley near us has it a lot.
Yeah.
So if you see them, if I go there, I'll just cruise by. If they come in packages of 2, if there's 3 left, I buy all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I'll just you just grill them like a normal ribeye. I don't get all fancy and do reverse sears and all this stuff with that.
Hell no.
I throw some Montreal steak on it and a little olive oil and throw it and incinerate it real quick. Pull it off medium rare, and it's delicious.
You're fancier than me. Salt, pepper, garlic salt. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing.
Sometimes I don't even do that.
I have the Montreal steak in the big freaking container, so it's just
I do like that seasoning though.
Yeah.
I just don't have any.
Yeah, I have a huge, like the big one, like the restaurant food service size of it.
Every time I think about getting fancy and like marinating it or something like that, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, and this stuff, like you don't have to marinate, you don't have to do anything to it.
Yeah.
Like you just chuck it on the grill, and
Fat
my
is
kids
flavor.
like it. So
Fat is flavor.
yeah,
For some reason, my kids like the lean meat, like the lean steaks, like of course filet mignon, right?
Oof.
To me, it's like, don't get me wrong, like they like it because it's not so chewy. I mean, if you have additional fat in there, it's chewier. Whereas if you have the fillet with the lean meat and less fat, it's not as chewy and
You know why they
it's
wrap
cooked properly.
You know why they wrap filet in bacon?
Right, for flavor.
Yeah, to make it taste like something.
Yeah.
So people get all amped up over it, and I mean, I'd rather have a boneless chuck eye steak than that.
So actually, what I did when I was at Costco, I got the flap steak, which had the fat in it, mm-hmm. and then I think I got the other leaner steak. It wasn't filet, but it was some other leaner steak that I could just. It didn't look like it had as much fat in it.
Yeah, sirloin doesn't have a lot of fat in it.
I think that's what it meant.
Yeah,
and I got that for the girls, and so I cooked it all together, and like so. Basically, what we've been doing is, whenever my wife's out for a night or something like that, I'll make steak for dinner because she doesn't eat red meat, but the girls do.
Yeah.
And so I'll make it all one night, and they eat whatever they want, and then I take the rest of it and I cut it up and I put it in the Tupperware and I put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And that's my lunch for the next few days.
Yep. Yeah, I used to go and buy at Costco or Sam's the big container, not container, but the big portion of flank or skirt steak, and I would almost make like a chimichurri and then grill it, and I'd grill it super rare because I knew I was going to be reheating it somewhere. Mm-hmm. So if I made it to my medium rare, where I like to eat it, and then microwaved it later, it would take it too well done.
Right.
Take it up to medium or, God forbid, medium well. If I just made it rare and I threw it in the microwave, it would go
to medium.
Yeah, maybe max out at medium.
Yeah.
And then mix that with salads, and it was I loved it. It was great.
You're gonna think I'm nuts. So after I put it in the fridge, because I don't want it to get too well done, and I hate the way the microwave. If it's in for 30 seconds, it goes from like medium rare to well done in like 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. I just don't heat it up anymore.
You just eat it cold?
I eat it cold.
Yeah, no, it's not bad cold either.
I enjoy it.
In fact, I really like it cold with some horseradish.
So I did something similar. So I found these Mission carb balanced flour tortillas. So they have a bunch of fiber in them. So that means the net carbs is low. Mm-hmm. So I can have 2 of them, and it's like, I think it's 6 net carbs, which is pretty low.
Yeah.
I can make 2 steak burritos or steak sandwiches. Mm-hmm. And essentially what I do is I put the cold steak, spray it with mayo, maybe a little bit of mustard if I'm feeling frisky. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Maybe and sometimes I'll put cheese on it.
Okay.
I don't heat it up though. And for me, I think it tastes great that way. And that's the other thing. It's like, look, if I'm making lunch just for me, it doesn't gotta be fancy.
Yeah.
No one else around. What do I care? If this tastes good to me, I'm eating it, and it tastes good to me. Mm-hmm. It's made. I don't gotta cook it. It takes me about 5 minutes to prepare because I already did the heavy work.
Yeah.
I cooked the steak, and so, but yeah, it's been. Don't get me wrong. It's been 6 months. I mean, I've had to have learned something in that time.
Yeah.
And that's just. I mean, that's what seems to work. I seem to do better when I've pre-cooked. And everyone's gonna say, "Well, of course, you dummy, you pre-planned your meal." Yeah, I guess. I mean, I just cook. I was cooking anyway. Then when I was cooking anyway, I realized I got to cook more, and that way I got it available. Mm-hmm. I don't plan. I didn't plan on eating it every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes I didn't. But if 4 out of 5 days during the week when the kids were at school, I ate that. That's it. That was good.
Yeah.
That's a good week. Especially with all the practices and games and whatnot. Like, that's another reason why it just hasn't been a good month. Like, because the amount of eating out we had to do, and I try to be good when we eat out, but sometimes you're just like, forget it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not a great mentality to have, but, you know.
Well, it's when you finally get off the field and get home, and it's now, on a school night. By the time it's 8:30,
Right.
and then it's like for us, like my wife would say, I'm just going to McDonald's. I'm like, get me a fillet of fish, like that's what I'm getting, and you're trying to get by, like, and here's you could have cooked dinner beforehand. Okay, so if I take the kid who's playing baseball, so we eat, so that if the game starts at 6, coach wants them at the field for, all their warm-ups and stuff at 5:15, 5:30.
Means you gotta leave at 5.
Right. So that means I'm going to eat dinner at 4:30.
Yep.
And then now this kid who's just, and he likes to get there early, and if there's a cage available, I'll throw batting practice to him. So we're getting there even early. So now the kid's eating at 4. Mm-hmm. Played baseball all day, not to mention the fact that he's a boy and growing and, wants to eat. So then we're going to come home at 8:30, and it's like, oh, well, that meal we had at 4 is going to hold him over? Right. No, I have to make him another meal. It's almost better to skip the first one, because I'm going to have to feed him the second one regardless. So, yeah, you know what? Call me a terrible dad. We're running through the drive-thru.
The only thing with the drive-thrus that we've been doing is we've been trying to, we stay away from the McDonald's. We stay away from the Burger Kings. We go to Chick-fil-A. That's our go-to. Just because I know I can go to Chick-fil-A. I can get the deluxe chicken sandwich with the pickles, the cheese, and the tomatoes. Sometimes I'll do a bacon chicken sandwich, and I'll throw the bacon on there, and I know I can get it lettuce wrapped.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
That way.
And here's the problem that I have, is that Chick-fil-A is 20 minutes up the road.
Correct.
Because there isn't one close. So it's either Severna Park or Annapolis.
Right.
Where McDonald's, there's 2 of them closer than, there's the Arnold one, which is right near Cheers and Spirits. So that's,
in the Arnold Station Plaza.
Yeah, 5 minutes away. Or there's the slower one, on, going towards the bridge. Yeah. They're both closer than going to any Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when they finally get that one built on Route 2 near us, different story. But do I want to go all the way to Severna Park to... And I like my fast food hot.
Right.
So by the time I get it back, it's now cold and ruined.
Yeah.
To Prince Michael of Arnold. So...
Yeah, our other go-to was hot dogs, because you can throw them in the air fryer.
Oh, yeah.
And that was another thing. Anything we could throw in the air fryer was great. The problem is that, chicken nuggets are not great for the keto.
They're not good for anything.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'll do chicken nuggets. I'll take the hot dogs out, and probably better than hot dogs are just frozen beef patties, hamburger patties.
Yeah.
Just chuck those on the grill. And if you're doing keto, I did this. I would make 2 patties with bacon and some cheese, and that was I just put them together almost like a sandwich. I wouldn't pick it up and eat it. I'd eat it with a fork.
Right.
But it was awesome.
Yeah.
I'd maybe have some, red onion and mustard on there too. It was great. And I have a gas grill, so just throw it on the grill and be done with it.
Yeah, I found like I did miss the bun a lot of times. But after I was done eating, I was happy I didn't eat the bun.
Yeah.
So you get the gratification of knowing that you didn't eat the bun.
Yeah.
But beforehand, you're like, ooh, I want a bun. I really want a bun. I am a bun. You're like, nope, no bun. But no, I guess that's the willpower part of it. And, it's been a roller coaster ride the past month just because of all the coming and going. Like, I swear people that lose the weight like that, I don't know, either they got amazing willpower or they don't have little kids.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but we're still going. Look, we're both the lowest weight we've been in years. Mm-hmm. We'll continue to give updates on it because I think it's important for people that listen to us about the weight loss updates. I don't know if they're getting any inspiration out of it, and I don't think. I mean, that's not what this is really about. I mean, a lot of it's about holding ourselves accountable
Yeah.
to people other than ourselves. I mean, if we fail, everybody's going to know.
Yeah, I don't want to spend my life as a before picture.
Correct.
So,
right.
but yeah, I think you just feel better. It's and when I was doing the low carb thing with that app, because I remember telling you like oh, my goal is 0. So I would get on the Peloton or lift weights because it gives you credits for working out. So I'm like, oh, I'm at -14 for the day because the watch is keyed in with steps and calories, and then I did 2 workouts. So now I'm like, which was cool, but then I just didn't stay with it. Again, discipline. So
it's not just that. I knew this, and I told you this like when we started. I hate these apps and having to keep track of the food.
Yeah.
It's a pain in my butt to have to enter everything. Now I get it, like that. People are going to be screaming, "That's what you got to do to lose weight. That's what you got to do."
Well,
that's not sustainable.
And here's my answer to that guy. So, one of my go-tos for lunch is I bring in a Greek salad with chicken. On that Greek salad, I use the spring mix, which is I guess it's got baby spinach, arugula, lettuce, radicchio, all this stuff in that's the whole mix of lettuce. Most of the apps will recognize the scan for that. Well, then I'm throwing on some feta cheese, red onions, some olives, and then Greek salad dressing, and then I'm adding on grilled chicken thighs. To just enter that in, I'm entering in like 7 or 8 different items. Yeah. And I just don't have I'm trying to inhale this food to go on to the next thing or do whatever I'm doing. So if you're cooking a lot and you have to enter in all the ingredients, and they say, oh, well, you can just build a meal. Like you can make a recipe. It doesn't work the right way. No. Like I screwed up the servings once where it said like do it per gram. Like I was like, oh, okay, so each serving's 100 grams or whatever. But no, I had screwed it up so it was 1 gram. So it would be like 300 servings or whatever. Because and I'm guessing, I don't know how many grams of feta cheese are on this goddamn thing.
Well, it already took you 20 minutes to enter in all the ingredients into this recipe.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it turns out you got the serving size wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's not easily editable. And like, I tried doing it one time, and I was just like, it took me about 15 to 20 minutes just to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, because, I made it, my wife was also eating it. She was like, oh, can you send it to me? Of course, it's not easy to send it to. She's in my friends list on the app. But for some reason, I can't send it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, 30 minutes into this, we finally figure out so she can grab it and put it in her thing, only for me not to have put in the serving sizes correctly.
Right.
We're like, I don't want it to take 30 to 40 minutes just for us to take the first bite of food.
Yeah.
That's already in front of us. I'm not even talking prep time and cook time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking just the amount of time it took us to enter it into the system and then try and figure out how much we ate of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, none of these things, and look, I'm sure that app is super awesome. I'm sure it is, and I knew this was going to happen before we started using it, because every single other app that I've used before this, I felt the same way. I got 2 months in me to use it. After that, I'm never going to use it again because it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
And not only am I trying to eat a different way and make these changes in my life, now I have to deal with this frustration.
Yeah.
And it's not even that. It's just like, you order something for Chick-fil-A. Of course, someone's entering the Chick-fil-A app, but it doesn't have all the things that you have in it.
Yeah, so you got to add.
Now you got to add or subtract.
Or you skip
things.
it.
Right.
You skip it entirely, and
right. Or you estimate wrong.
Yeah, and I would do so I would do for breakfast. I would have three fried eggs and 3 slices of bacon. But then no one does bacon by the slice in the app. It's how many grams or ounces. Like 3 ounces of bacon is a lot of bacon, especially like 3 ounces of cooked bacon because it loses a lot when you cook it. So the eggs were easy, but then the bacon became a pain. I'm like, wait, how the hell did I eat 1,700 calories worth of bacon? Oh, because I put, I did the thing wrong. I said I had 8 ounces of bacon, which I didn't. I had 3 slices. Right. So now I have to figure, okay, well, how much does that weigh? I don't freaking know. So the little graphics are neat. The circles, kind of like your rings on your watch if you got a Apple Watch. Like it's kind of like that setup. So, but you're right. It becomes a pain in the butt to keep doing it.
Yeah. Even like in the app, it's like, okay, I had 3 eggs. Well, there's 3 different entries for large eggs.
Yeah.
One says it's 90 calories, another one says 100, the other one says it's 80, one says it's 140. How many calories are in a stupid freaking egg? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't need, these people that rate these apps, they're like, look, a large egg, 90 calories, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Don't give me 4 options. I don't know. That's what I'm going to the app for.
Yeah, just be like the umpire. Oh, why is that a strike? Because the umpire said it was.
Right.
That's why.
No, wrong. I get it. Eggs are different sizes. But if I go to the store and I buy a carton of large eggs, I look in the app, it says a large egg is 90 calories. Great. There should only be 1 entry there.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't make me guess. Because I don't know. That's why I'm in the app.
Yeah.
If I have a jumbo egg, fine. A jumbo egg is 110 calories. Great. 1 option. That's it. It just got to be a pain because, of course, they have all the user entries plus their entries. It's like, no, you got to make this. I get it. You want to try and be exact. You want the users to be able to enter their own stuff. That's fine. But if you make it too complicated, it's like, look, if they estimate, let's say the egg I ate is really, I don't know, let's say if it's 80 calories, but I mark it down as 90. Mm-hmm. 10 calories different isn't going to make a difference.
Yeah.
If it was 200, it's 100 or 200 off, sure, that can make a difference in my day.
Right.
10 is not. Mm-mm. So, I don't know. I forget, what did we start this episode off as?
I remember.
I don't remember. Maybe the aliens stole our brains from the last episode.
Could be, or the government did.
Government.
Because it's not aliens, it's the government.
Right. But yeah, no, I mean, the good thing is this, is that both of us weigh less than we did 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. That is a fact.
Yeah.
I think we both know the changes we had to make to get here.
Yeah.
1, we had to eat less. 2, we had to eat less shit. 3, I definitely think cutting carbs helped both of us. Just because through my blood work, I know that I cut my, not glucose, what's the...
A1C?
Not that one, the other one. The one people have trouble controlling.
So it's blood sugar?
Yeah.
Insulin?
Insulin.
Okay.
That's the one. My insulin levels went way down. Mm-hmm. And so internally, I know something's working. I just need to stay on this path.
Yeah.
If I stay on this path, I had not gone up. I mean, I have not gained a bunch of it back. And for me, that's a plus all on its own. So my goal is another 6 months of keeping the carbs low-ish, keeping my calories under 2,200 a day. I think my allowance is 2,400 a day. And, I'm going to have to estimate because the app is not for me.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, I kind of have the estimations down. I know what my vices are calorie-wise. And I also know, the things, I try and keep the diet constant. So, the steak at lunch. Mm-hmm. I know I can have about 8 to 12 ounces. I know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because from when I weighed it, I know what it looks like. So I don't have to weigh it anymore. I know like this little mountain of steak is 8 to 12 ounces or 10 to 12 ounces. I know how many calories that is. I can estimate and stay under what I need to. And if I'm in doubt, I stay under.
Yeah.
I won't eat the last thing. But that's where we're kind of at with this. You got anything to close it out with?
No, just, I'm moving in the right direction too. I'm kind of different path. So, I've had a cyst, I guess, from the doctor. I got some phentermine, which is very old weight loss drug. So I've had success with that in the past. So we're with that.
When did you start the phentermine? Do you remember the date?
3 weeks ago.
So roughly, you're talking about May 20th.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yep.
May 24th, 25th. The next time, the next show would probably be around July.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how much you've lost since you started that, because it'll be about 2 months.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting.
Yep. And I'm also playing super consistent with intermittent fasting. So I'm giving myself an 8-hour eating window, which I usually start at noon and go till 8 at night, and I shut it down. So that's been between those two. So, I'm down 30 pounds since we started all this. There's been some ups and downs, but
Yeah.
We'll see. And my belt's looser, and so I had to tighten it up, which is good. So
Yeah.
We'll keep going.
That's been the nicest gains. I've got pants that fit better than they did. A button-down shirt. Went to a wedding. Actually, when we went to the wedding, we went to Buffalo, and did not need a seatbelt extender.
Oh, there you go.
So that was a positive.
Yeah.
So things like that. But we'll keep you all updated. We hope if you're trying to lose weight like we are, or started when we did, hopefully we're keeping you on track, letting you know that this is not going to be a direct line down. We've had the ups, we've had the downs, and we've been sharing them with you guys as we go. Not as often as we used to, but sometimes there just isn't anything to report. So we'll keep giving you updates as we can, and hopefully you're sticking with it too. If you have any low points, hopefully you're getting back on track when you need to. Don't let a small mishap turn into a bigger one. Get yourself back on track the next day. And thank you to Cheers and Spirits for aiding our drinking tonight. We appreciate them. Please like, subscribe, comment, share on all the podcast platforms. You can find us on Facebook at drivewaybeerspodcast.com, or Driveway Beers Podcast on Facebook, drivewaybeerspodcast.com. You can join us on the driveway with Driveway Beers Podcast /donate, and we're on Twitter at DWayBeersPod if you want to connect with us. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.